I was wrong. I was wrong again. After the Starfield Direct, I did not think that we would get much, if anything at all, from Bethesda about Starfield. But we've gotten a lot. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Starfield Signal, your place for everything Starfield. I'm your host, Luke, and today we're going to be talking mainly about the Jamie Mallory interview that was just posted on Bethesda's website. She is one of the producers of Starfield at Bethesda Game Studios, and you may remember her from the Starfield Direct from these clips.
It's a bit odd, but one of my favorite ways of customizing ships is I make them look like animals. I definitely go like the more piracy routes. I want to take over ships. I'm going to board ships. I'm like, this is now mine. I steal all the sandwiches and put them, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero, but I want to go out and just start taking things from people as quickly as possible.
Our favorite sandwich pirate, yes, Jamie. But what I want to do is kind of tease out some of the things she said in this interview, specifically with the ship builder. Now, there are also a few other things that I want to kind of draw out, and my favorite one is actually going to be at the end of this video, where we're going to draw out what she says about the faction quest lines and the different side storylines that you have there. I think there's some really interesting things there, so stick around to the end of the video if you want to hear that. But first, let's go ahead and dive into kind of the promise of this video, talking about what she said about the new ship builder. Let's get into it. The level of team collaboration on the project was off the charts, talking about Starfield, especially when it came to ship builder. We had an amazing team with some developers who worked on the incredible snap maps in Doom 2016. And we've got this massive list of exciting features we're looking forward to discussing and potentially implementing in the future. Earlier in the interview, Jamie actually reveals that she started her career working on Doom 2016 with that team. And so it's no surprise that she was able to connect that team who built the snap maps in Doom to the ship builder in Starfield that we've seen before. But the new thing that is revealed is this idea of snap maps. And so I wanted to do a little bit of research. I haven't seen anybody else diving in this deep into this, but a quick Google search of Doom snap maps revealed a really cool thing. So I never played Doom 2016, but if you're familiar with that, forgive me. So I'm going to dive into this a little bit. But I found this great video from YouTuber Lomadia. Please forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But right here, we see she is kind of going through what looks to be the snap map builder and system. So let's just kind of take a look at that, and I'll play some of this as we talk over it. But this already looks super familiar, right, to what we've seen of the ship builder. We have these little kind of nodules, these circles that you can connect to one another. So taking different parts, different size buildings that are already kind of pre-built parts, and we're snapping these together. And it looks like this person has a lot of experience with this, because they are moving fast. You can see they kind of bring up different menus. Let me go back to that. So they bring up different menus, and they're able to select, okay, which prison do you want? So right here they have a prison, and they have different shapes and sizes with different amounts of snapping points to them. And this definitely is reminiscent of what we've already seen of the ship builder. The thing that really caught my attention is how they go from this kind of map style grid to what we can clearly see is influenced the ship builder, what we've seen so far, to something we haven't seen already in the ship builder, and that is interior customization. Okay, we can see here we are in kind of the map view of the snap map, or what we could correlate to the ship builder. But then watch this, they transition from the map view into, okay, this is what you've built. You're in your 3D space now. And I bet we're going to see something really similar in the ship builder in Starfield, because a lot of people have been asking, right? Okay, well, this all looks really exciting. I'm excited to build my ship, but how can I get into my ship and really customize everything on the walls, everything in the interiors, from the furniture to the technology to where my crew members sit? This looks like it's going to be the way they're going to do that. So we zoom in here, and you can see this YouTuber is able to kind of walk through what she's built, kind of see how does this look on the inside. And we see here it even tells them, like, okay, here's a snap point, and this is what it is. so they can kind of get some context as to, okay, this is where I was in the map view of this, and this is where I am in the 3D space. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. So in here, they have like some combat loading in sections. And again, it looks like a lot of customization. What I think is most appropriate kind of for our purposes today is where they come into this mode. And this is what they call props in this video. I'm not sure if that's kind of the official term in Doom 2016, but look here. They have the option to put in floor clutter, wall clutter, ceiling clutter, decal layers, sound layers. This makes me so much more excited for Starfield Shipbuilder, knowing that this level of detail is going to be, most likely, going to be available to us. Okay, so they can turn these things on. I absolutely love this. Even from here, you see they can change the atmosphere from burned to, what was the other one they changed? From burned to cold as hell. Let's go back to that. And so even kind of these templated vibes and feels of what you want your ship to feel like. And let's keep going, and we'll see some more customization. Okay, here, again, they are able to turn all of these things on. Changing the mood, changing the vibe, changing the clutter, changing the feel of it. Here we have some more specific props from just things, from big drums of containers, maybe some resources in here, to just different things that you can have on it to make it feel like, hey, this is a lived-in ship, or this is a lived-in environment. This is something that was actually built by people who needed things for a purpose, right? A lot of that immersion is really coming through here. And so if you're the kind of person that can really lose yourself in building an environment, storytelling through that environment, building your own lore, your own character development, I think with this in mind, the Starfield Shipbuilder is not going to disappoint. And again, just look at all things that you would usually pass by in a video game and not even think about. Someone placed there, and now you can be that person who placed it there. You can see they can change the size, they can change the placement, they can change where music transitions happen. That is really cool. Oh my gosh, I love this. Okay, so check out, I'll link this video in the description of my video. Go and check that out if you're curious, if you want to really dig deep. But I think just giving us a glimpse of what's possible with this system that they built with Snap Maps, taking this into the Starfield Shipbuilder, it blows me away. I'm really, really excited. I honestly did not think that it could possibly be this detailed, but this gives us some indication that it could be, which is really cool. And, taking this probably applies to the outpost as well, right? We saw a little bit more interior customization with the outpost, but nothing this detailed or nothing this specific. So I think this is something that they were kind of holding back because maybe it seems a bit too technical, maybe it seems a bit overwhelming at first, but I think it's exciting. So I'm excited for that. Next, I want to talk about terminals. Jamie mentions this in her interview. The terminals added another layer of depth to the game, usually giving players more insight into the story and lore of the area they are currently in. Now, when I first read this, I was kind of reading all of it to take it all in, and I initially thought, okay, is she talking about like spaceport terminals? Because like an airport terminal, right, is where you go from, like your waiting area into your ship, or you go from your ship into the waiting area to, kind of go out into the city. And I was thinking, like, we didn't see anything like that in the direct. We just saw our ships landing directly in the spaceport on that big circular pad, and then we would go into the city from there, and I guess they take care of it in a garage, or it automatically stores or something. We haven't seen that yet. But we definitely didn't see any kind of area or space where we go from our ship into a building and then into the city or to an outpost or something. And so that was kind of curious to me at first, but then as I read through the description of what she said more, I started thinking, no, that's not what this is. That would be cool, but I don't think that's what this is. When she says terminals, I believe she's talking about like computer terminals. So, and this is pretty standard in a lot of RPGs, right? And we've seen this before in Bethesda RPGs where, Fallout, you go to a computer terminal and there's memos and there's emails and there's research there that maybe even could give you points, kind of think about like reading books in Skyrim. Some of those books give you a little boost in your lock picking or your sneaking ability or something. They have skills attached to them. Maybe that's what she's talking about here when it comes to terminals, is computer terminals, where, she says that it adds another layer of depth in the gameplay, usually giving players more insight into the story and lore of the area. That makes perfect sense, right? If we go into a research outpost and we see a bunch of memos on terminals where they were doing some research and it didn't work out, and that's why this big explosion happened, or that's why they, this creature got out of their holding facility and is now, wreaking havoc all over the place where you need to go and help out. So I think that's what it is. And honestly, this is a great way to start kind of building, the world of Starfield, or the universe of Starfield, or the galaxy of Starfield, is little stories, tiny little stories between, I think we've even seen before in Fallout, or maybe I'm thinking of Horizon, but just little cheeky, humorous anecdotes where it's two people emailing back and forth and they're bickering about something so silly. And it doesn't have anything to do with the story, it doesn't have anything to do with the world, but it's just this human moment where, if we're honest, we've all been there, where we're going back and forth with a colleague, whether we're just kind of having fun or, it's professional and we're actually having a disagreement. These little human moments that really start to make this world feel real and believable and lived in. And so I think that's a great addition. Next, mission boards. What she says about mission boards is the mission board also kept us all on our toes, ensuring players had exciting challenges to tackle while exploring the cosmos. So I don't want to dive in too deep into this, but just a couple of things that I think caught my attention. This makes me think that our missions will not simply be, given through dialogue or given through, okay, we land on a place and we find, someone in an outpost and like, hey, can you go, take care of these creatures that are bugging us at our research facility. There could be literal like mission boards, like a digital mission board that you go up to in a city or some sort of settlement, and people have just kind of posted like these help wanted signs, right? I'm thinking of like The Witcher right now in my head, where you just go and say, okay, I have some time on my hands, or I want to explore this place further. I might as well get some credits for it. I might as well get some experience if I just want to go exploring. And so like as you go, you can complete these missions for these people who've kind of posted these help wanted signs up there on the mission board. And that may seem like, okay, well, that's nothing too big, but a lot of games would simply just kind of put this in the menu, right? Or they would just kind of put this in some sort of like, hey, here's an incoming message from someone, and they just kind of put it in your menu, your data menu. But I like the fact that they've taken the time to design this mission board. They've taken the time to place it in intentional places around settlements and around cities. And these are things that you can actually go to, again, kind of immersing you more into this believability of Starfield, that this place is real. These places are real, and these people are real, and they need my help. Lastly, faction storylines. Now, I have an unpopular opinion here, okay? Unpopular opinion. I'll probably dive into this later in like another video, but I actually think that Bethesda main story missions, main storylines, are good. I actually think they're good. I like them. Now, I know a lot of people, the general sentiment is that, main storylines aren't great. It's the side storylines that are where you pick up the best stories or the best storytelling. And while I definitely agree with the fact that there's great stories that can be told in the storylines and the different factions usual, I think the main story is always good. But this gives us just a little glimpse into those faction storylines to know that, one, these are going to not be short, little, isolated moments. These are most likely storylines that are going to carry you through a lot of the game, if not the entire game, alongside, kind of parallel to the main story. Let's read what Jamie said about these faction storylines. Lately, I've been diving deep into the quest lines of all the different factions, and I've been pleasantly surprised by the incredible variety in their storylines. It's like unlocking a treasure trove of captivating narrative that many folks might not even realize exist. While some may rush through the main Golden Path storyline, those intrepid explorers who venture off the beaten path and delve into the faction quest are in for a real treat. Jamie continues, the amount of content packed into these faction storylines is truly astonishing. It's like embarking on a grand adventure within an adventure where every choice you make and every interaction you have shapes the course of the tale. The character development, the plot twists, the moral dilemmas, I've been completely hooked. These quests offer a chance to delve deeper into the game's rich lore and uncover hidden gems that add layers of depth and excitement to the overall experience. Now, that definitely sounds like a very curated marketing kind of paragraph there, but at the same time, like, it still gets me excited. Specifically, I want to go back to what she said about character development. The character development, the plot twists, the moral dilemmas, I've been completely hooked. I'm really big on character development. If a great movie has a great plot, a great idea, a great hook, great visual effects, but the characters don't change somehow, or they don't grow, or they don't overcome something, I feel like it's a bit lackluster to me. That's really big for me for some reason. And I know everybody kind of has their own preferences, but that's a big preference of mine. I want to see these characters grow in some way. And again, traditionally in Bethesda games, we haven't been able to see a lot of character development in any of the main quests lines or the faction story quest lines. And so it makes me excited that is something she specifically noted here, that our characters are going to develop, they're going to grow, they're going to change. I hope that is something of consequence, something substantial, that maybe even reacting to the decisions that you make, we can see some growth in those places, and that maybe even we as the player character can help in that growth, that because of our decisions, we're helping this person become a better person, or we're leading them down a darker path of cynicism or violence, maybe, if we choose to go that route in our play. So in conclusion, hearing all of these things from Jamie makes me so excited for all of the things we haven't even seen yet. I know we felt like we were kind of drinking from a fire hose, right, at the Starfield Direct, and we've done so many breakdowns. We're like, how can there be anything else in this game? But this game is going to be huge. It's going to be massive. As Todd said in the Direct, they haven't even showed us everything, and we get a little glimpse into what they haven't showed us here. And I imagine there are countless more systems and polish and really cool ideas that we haven't seen yet. And so, gosh, just almost a month left to go, a little under a month left to go for early access. Guys, we are in for a treat. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button. That would mean a lot to me. That helps other Starfield fans find our more thoughtful and engaging content. And if you've really enjoyed yourself, hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to join our crew. It's as easy as hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell for notifications. You could also join our Discord, where we have ongoing back and forth conversations about all things Starfield. Thank you to our patrons and our YouTube channel members for all the support they give. Again, if you're interested in that, you can hit that join button on the channel page. You can check out Starfield Signal merch on our YouTube page as well. Hit that store tab. You can get shirts, hats, mugs, all different kinds of cool things. For now, may you find wonder as you journey through the stars.